All right, we ready? And grab your bag and go. That's it, move, move. Go, 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 go. One, Armani suits and run.
All right.
All right, week 18, Armani suits and run. This is the last week of the season. Last pod where we'll be making picks. And we find ourselves in a interesting position, a unique opportunity where we're at 40, 43, and 2 overall. And I believe we have the same record that we did at this time last year, or right about. But if we go 3 and 2 this week, we would have the exact same record as we did last year. That's right, right? That's what we were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is just like it's unbelievable, yet not surprising at all. It just feels right. Um, but we were also saying, I mean, it's a good thing we didn't do any sort of like fade entry because we would just have two entries sitting in the middle of the pack.
Two losers.
Oh my God, it would just like absolutely.
It's about as bad as it can get from an investment standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, but we went three and two last week. So in terms of we won the Man Campbell. Lions obviously big winners on Monday night. Interesting game. I mean, it got off to a hot start for the Niners, but the Lions just kind of stayed with them and then took over, especially in that second half. Came through with the Commanders on Sunday night. That was looking hairy for a minute, but they stayed in it, and then Falcons had a chance to win it with what was it, a 57-yard field goal at the end of regulation. I think the guy came up 5 yards short, which in today's NFL with today's kickers, that you can't have that happen,
The
especially
backup kicker.
yeah, but I mean, it's indoors.
Like somebody said, though, that's what you get when you replace an immigrant with a white man.
Oh Jesus!
Everybody, yeah.
Holy shit!
Because everybody, there were tweets where it's like, all right, let's just get Koo out here.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
like, who the fuck is this white guy?
yeah. Oh my God. And then in terms of the individual picks, I hit with the Raiders -1. And then Kieran, you were on the Jets +11, just an unfortunate disaster. Bills just blew them out. We were never in it. And then Bowen, you were on the Packers +1. Would they lose to the Vikings by 2?
Yeah, too.
Of course. Of course they did. But I mean, that was one where I mean, if I remember correctly, the Vikings
They were up.
they were up, and then the Packers made this late comeback, but
It was kind of the same script as their last game, where Jordan Love didn't do anything for the start. He looked terrible. And then all of a sudden he just went crazy in the second half, and you blink and it's suddenly a game.
yeah,
That's like exactly what happened earlier in the season.
I think Jordan Love had like 45 yards a half or some crazy low number. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
below 100. I know that for sure.
I think it was below 50. I'm almost certain it was below 50. Like, it was. He just didn't even throw the ball much. They just seemingly didn't have the ball. Josh Jacobs fumbled on that first drive, I believe, or the first drive that they had the ball, and then I think the Vikings kind of just held the ball and got the ball back, or the Packers got the ball back. They made another stop, and that was kind of the first half. So,
Yep.
happens.
All right. So where that leaves us in terms of individuals, so with the win, um, I improved to 8, 7, and 2. I'm looking back. I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've gone 5, 0, and 1 in the last 6 weeks. So that's been a nice little late run for me, to at least guarantee a 500 season on the picks. Kieran, you're 10 and 7. So I think you've had that locked in for a couple of weeks, but you will be the top individual picker for the season, and then Bowen will be heading to Vegas, 5 and 12 on the season. So that's where we're at. All right, so for week 18, we're going to we'll have 3 individual picks. The Lions play the Vikings Sunday night, so that'll be a man versus Sam Wheel to determine the pick there. And then Kieran, I think we said to determine the Patriots draft fate, we'll just put the Pats on the wheel.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I made it a boom or doom wheel. I figure that's the
Love that.
most appropriate.
Boom or
Because
doom.
either the Pats will lock in the first overall pick, which I never thought I'd see in my lifetime, and give us a chance to really build on something.
What do they do with
Or
that pick?
it's pure doom. If
You
they get the
you
first overall pick, they got to trade it. I mean, like you can't make the pick there. It's just there's too much demand for those two quarterbacks, especially in
Yeah.
a draft like this, where it's so scarce and you can't rely on a guy like Michael Penix, Bo Nix, or JJ McCarthy to be there at 10. Like there's
Yeah.
just going to be an insane demand. So I was looking and I've seen suggestions where there was the Bryce Young trade, which
Mhm.
I think teams are going to try to avoid making deals like that in the future.
Yeah.
So I don't even think that's really a realistic goal. But
I'd
the
be
thing is, when
content with like
Jared
half of the
Goff,
Bryce Young return.
what's that?
I'd be content with like half the Bryce Young
Yeah,
return.
it's like I think it's going to be somewhere in between that trade and the Jared Goff trade because when you look at that draft class, it was Goff 1, Carson Wentz went 2, and then
Mm.
there was no other first round quarterback except for what was his name? Christian Hackenberg. I
Oh
think he was the
jeez.
only other first round quarterback. He went in the 20s.
Yeah.
So I think that's a more comparable class to this. So I think that the demand might be somewhere around there. Of course, there's kind of like, with the way the league kind of ebbs and flows, there might be like some inflation with how that's valued. But I think it's gonna be somewhere in between there. I mean, I would like to I saw a package today. If they want to throw in like an extra pick or two on top and maybe we give like a fourth rounder or something, then I'd be open to that. But it was something like we trade the first round pick, we get the Raiders first rounder, we get like a third rounder, and then we get Max Crosby. I'd love that.
Yeah.
But I think getting a player like that on top of getting, moving back in the first, I think that would be most ideal because the Pats, they need guys, they need players, and you can't just continue, you can't just roll the dice on picks, picks, and picks. It would be nice to get some sort of proven commodity like how the Bears got DJ Moore.
I saw that similar trade with Brian Burns and the Giants trading up. So I
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that.
I'd like that.
That Max or Brian Burns, instead of having to pick a D end with that pick, kind of frees you up to pick whoever you'd like.
Yeah, because we've been talking, Zach, where it's like, I would like to see us go like all in on the offense, but like if we ended up with a guy like Abdul Carter, like I'm not going to cry about it because everything about him suggests that he's going to be unbelievable in the pros. He looks like one of those next great D linemen. So it's like, I mean, I'd be totally cool with getting him, but then if we could just instead get a guy like Max Crosby, who we know is nasty, then like, I mean, I'd also be very satisfied with that.
They also have the money to pay one of these top edge guys,
Yeah.
which they should totally be for. I mean, no brainer.
I'd love Max Crosby. That'd be fucking awesome. All right.
All right.
Well,
Let's go over to the wheel. Okay, we got the name wheel right here.
I
Share.
feel like I need a wheel to decide which of my 3 picks I'm going to use.
All right. Holy shit.
Hey,
Wow. I thought it might have ended up on me.
I didn't even know that the wheel was wheeling. I thought
Wow.
it was still like in his practice wheel.
I think I still have it set on the longer rotation from the last week.
Got it.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say that was
Oh.
like a unique spin.
That felt like forever. I'm not going to lie.
Forever.
All right. I'm taking the Chiefs plus 10.5 over the Broncos. I know they're resting a lot of starters, but to me, this just feels like a number that's way too big for a team that does have a lot of depth. Carson Wentz, I don't think we were just talking about him. I don't think he's your typical backup QB. He could sling the ball. He's had a lot of success in the NFL. Even if they sit both Hunt and Pacheco, like I assume Pirine, Steele are getting the carries. Those guys are very capable players. With all the weapons that they have on offense, even as you look beyond kind of their premier, wide receivers, Kelsey is the tight end. Like there are guys that contribute every week anyway. So this just to me feels like a line that's too big for a team that's 15-1, has a ton of pride. They're going against a team that's fighting for their playoff life, but they've also lost 2 straight. There's a lot of pressure on this team with a rookie QB. Like all they had to do was win one of their last 3 games and they lost the first 2. And now they got to win this game and if they lose, they got to hope that, the Dolphins and the Bengals both lose. But I don't know. This just feels like too big of a number to me. So I'm taking the Chiefs.
The only thing that would make me nervous, I haven't done my research on who's playing for the Chiefs. If their O line is playing, and they're playing starters there, I think 10.5 is way too many points. It does make me a little nervous if they're playing like a full set of backups against that Broncos D line, which has been really, really, that front seven really has been really, really good this year for them. But at the same time, Carson Wentz, ultimate wild card, 10.5 points, a lot of points. Broncos can still handily win this game, and that number still be, under. So, yeah, like the pick.
Yeah, I had them. That was probably going to be my first pick. That was kind of in between a few different things, but yeah, it's kind of the same thing. I think it's just this is a team that is an institution. They have championship DNA. I do think that people are kind of underrating Carson Wentz as a quarterback. I understand that he's kind of sucked in recent years, but he's much better than a lot of the backups that we see. Like there's a difference. He's on like that tier of backup where it's like if he became the starter, I actually think he could get himself like another starting gig somewhere. So I think he's going to come out and he's going to play. I think he's only on a 1 year deal, so he's probably playing for his next contract as well. But yeah, I mean, it's also one of those things, something that I took away from last week when there was all this talk about resting starters and all that. It was Dan Campbell said it, Bill Belichick said it, and then Jim Harbaugh also said it, where it's like, you can only have X amount of inactives. So it's like, what are you
Right.
going to do? Are you going to say to your starters, like, hey, we value these guys and don't want them to get hurt, but we're going to need you guys to go out there and risk your bodies for injury and all that. So it's very tough. So for a guy like Dan Campbell, he doesn't look to bench their guys. I don't think Belichick or Harbaugh believe in it as well. But yeah, as far as the O line, I don't know what they're going to do, but I would just assume it's like there's only so many people that they can sit, and I feel
Yep.
like it's an O line unit where it's like either it's
Somebody's
all
got to
in or
go out
all
there.
out. So
Yep.
yeah, I feel pretty good. I think everyone's just so set on like, oh, the Chiefs, they want to lose so that the Broncos get in and they don't have to face the Bengals. I just don't think teams think like that. I think that's how fans think. I think that's how fantasy players think. So like I said, it's a championship DNA. They're an institution. I just think it's too many points. I feel like people are just assuming it's going to be a blowout. I think the Chiefs have way too much pride to. It could happen, but I don't think they're just going to like let it happen.
Yeah. They're not going to roll over.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Like they might still get blown out, but like it's not going to be without a fight.
Also, NFL rigged. Bengals making the playoffs is great for them. So I think there is some incentive to juice the books for the Chiefs via the refs or however that may work out. I just some funny stuff could be happening.
You know what I keep thinking
Funny,
of too
funny
is the
stuff.
fact that, I placed those Bengals futures in the summer because I had that whole epiphany about, Burrow and Chase back in New Orleans for the Super Bowl. That's where they won the national championship. The only times that they've played there, they've put up insane numbers. Um, them losing to the Pats could fuck me in two ways, where the Pats winning that game made it much more difficult for them to just like they could already have the first overall pick locked up if they didn't win that game. And then the Bengals wouldn't be fighting for their lives like this, relying on the Broncos and the Chiefs with their bench players in if they just beat the Pats in the first week of the season. So
Yep.
that game's probably going to come back to haunt me. I can already.
Quiet as it's kept.
Yeah.
Kobe Brissett beat Joe Burrow straight up in a football game this year.
Insane.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
All right, back to the wheel.
Yes,
Back
yes,
to the
yes.
wheel.
I kind of like this longer spin.
Definitely less predictable.
It takes some getting
Well,
used to, but I kind of like it.
Wow.
It's not even done. It's me.
Hey! Bro, I thought it was going to end firmly in the middle of my name.
That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. All right. I'm going to take the Jags +5.
Ooh.
I think the vibes in Indy are just really bad right now. Pat McAfee's vowing to not renew his season tickets. It sounds like the players inside the locker room don't like him. He's like their biggest advocate and has been for the last however many years, and he doesn't really like them. It's just really weird things going on. There's talks about Steichen like being on the hot seat and everything. There's all this stuff about Anthony Richardson.
Bum.
Jamarcus Russell comps are starting to come out, and they're honestly pretty valid. He's not playing this week. It's going to be Flacco this week. I just feel like the vibes are so down. And then I saw something, I didn't fact check this, but I think that the Jags are just one of those teams. Like, this is one of those division rivalries where, like, the Jags just, like, always win. Um, so I'm taking the Jags +5. I feel like they're playing good enough football. I don't know what the starter situation is for them, but I mean, Mac Jones has not been terrible. Brian Thomas has been able to put up crazy numbers with them. They have a decent enough run game with the two back system that they have going on. So I'm going to take the Jags with the points. I just don't feel like the Colts should be favorites right now.
I like it. It was one of my top three. Um, for all the reasons you outlined. I think it's interesting that the players don't like McAfee. It's like, oh, why? Because he's like holding you accountable for not being good. Like,
I
like
didn't think anything McAfee said was really that unfair.
no, I think McAfee's been spot on with everything that he said. And it's like, if the players don't like it, then I think that's even more reason to look at that group of players and say, this is not a team that's going to get us to be a like a championship competitive program. It's just not. Like,
Yeah.
if you can't take that kind of criticism and feedback and say, like, yeah, we got to be better, like, then I don't think you're cut from that ilk.
Yeah.
And I think too, I mean, look, they went into last week with playoff hopes still alive, laid an absolute turd against the Giants of all teams, a team that had no incentive to win. And not only that, but like they got their ass handed to them.
Yeah.
And so now you've got a team who's coming off getting eliminated in embarrassing fashion and having to play one more game that means nothing against a team who's been out of it for weeks, has played with pride. They've won 2 of their last 4 games. The other 2 games were 1 possession games. Jags are playing tough. This might be Doug Peterson came out and said this might be his last game. He kind of recognizes that it's been the most challenging. I think if anything, team shows up for a guy that might be on his way out the door. So I like the Jags getting the points here.
Yep.
I hate to say it. I kind of want to. There's these talks about Ben Johnson going to the Jags.
Yeah.
I like it. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
If he can actually unlock Trevor Lawrence and bring him at least closer to what he was projected to be,
Yeah.
him with Brian Thomas in that offense, I think that could be a pretty good system.
Could be. They'd be a big drop off in terms of talent, but
I'd rather see that than him go to Chicago.
oh yeah, that I can yeah.
But I'd rather see him go to the Patriots over.
Over any of those.
I see Colts historical struggles against Jaguars. They're bad. 15, 26, and 2 against the spread versus Jacksonville over the last 20 years. Yeah, they're bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Glad I got the fact check after I made the pick. All right. Back to the wheel.
Back to the wheel. All right. Oh,
Right.
Wow.
wow.
All right.
It looked like it was close, and then it ended up not being close.
I'm going Panthers +8 on the road against Atlanta. I just don't really see it with Michael Penix yet. Oh, terrible timing. I don't see it with Michael Penix yet. I don't think that he should be this big of a favorite. I get the Falcons are still technically in the hunt. I think they need a lot of things to shake out their way to make the playoffs or win the division or however that would need to work out. But I think they're technically still mathematically able to make the playoffs even after last week's loss. So I guess I see where the line is inflated a bit, but we've seen, with the Panthers the past 6 weeks or so, they've been playing really hard on offense. I mean, their defense does not have, I don't think, the pro talent to keep many offenses, in check throughout the game. But who better than a rookie quarterback in like his third start to, maybe have a turnover against, catch that team lacking a little bit. Still trying to find their way and kind of find what works on the offensive side of the ball with a new quarterback. So 8 points is too many. Panthers offense has been playing really strong, and I just not the biggest Penix believer. So like the Panthers with the points.
That was my third pick. We actually have successfully picked my top three.
Yep.
I like the
Yep.
Panthers as well. I think it's kind of the same thing, and it's something that I've kind of leaned on a few times this year, where it's like I just don't feel like the Falcons should be getting 8 points. I feel like that's kind of ridiculous, regardless of who's playing and who's not. But I saw a chart this week where Penix is like, and small sample size, he had 2 starts, but he's like historically inaccurate. Like even like like Anthony, he almost makes like Anthony Richardson blush with how inaccurate he's been. But you could see it last week where there were just a few times where he was just overthrowing guys. Like he had guys that were like about to break free for, a big gain, and he just missed them by a few feet, whether he was overthrowing them a little to the left, a little to the right, or anything. So his passing's just not there. And I guess, I mean, I didn't look too deep into his actual passing tape. I just watched him when he was playing at Washington because they were always on TV and that was a great team. But I guess statistically, he wasn't really that accurate at Washington either. He was just able to get the ball where it needs to be, get it to those windows. We see that in college all the time where it's like whether it's the quarterback kind of profiting off of it or the receiver, but it's like these really good receivers are often just getting schemed wide open in college. So
Yeah.
it's like if you can
Yeah,
just
there's
get it
so
within
much
like
more
a 20-foot
separation.
radius of them, they're going to get it. So
Yeah.
I guess he kind of struggled with that at Washington as well. It looks like it's kind of showing itself now early on. Something you can clean up now, but I don't think that's something you can work on over 1 week, especially coming off of a primetime game. So yeah, I think it's just way too many points. I think the Panthers are a team that's they're going to come out and they're going to play hard. So yeah, I'd much rather take all those points.
Yeah, I like the pick. It didn't make my top three, but it was I was looking at it. And for all those reasons you guys just talked about. So fan of the pick.
All right, to the Pats wheel.
Yeah, let's do Pets Wheel. We gotta leave the door open for another Man Campbell walk off if it comes to us.
All right, so I did boom or doom. So I'm gonna go with boom would be the Bills because I think that is best case scenario for us. We want the Pats to lose. So
Yep.
boom would be the Bills covering
Okay.
and winning. And then doom, worst case scenario would be the Pats pulling off the I guess it's an upset still. They are underdogs, but them coming out and getting that win and just,
What are
likely
the
blowing
points?
the chance of the first round.
Wait, is it 2 or 2.5 on Circa?
2
points.
2
Minus
points.
2.
Where is it on my? Yeah, 2 points.
That's crazy.
All right, here we go.
Even playing the backups, I feel like the Patriots should be getting more points than 2.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a bad football team.
Terrible. Terrible team. Oh, get to that blue doom. Get to that blue doom.
Fuck.
Oh, no.
It's a doom.
The Pats are totally fucking winning. God damn
Plus
it.
2. Emotional hedge, right?
Yeah. All right. All right. So Patriots plus 2 is the pick.
Yep.
Ugh.
That's just like a fucking dagger in the heart.
You know what though? Maybe this is one of those situations. Maybe it's better that we hate it.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things. If they do it, at least there's one positive that comes out. We improve our record to win no money.
Yeah.
To maybe go 3-2 and secure the same exact record as last year.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Man Campbell versus Sammy D.
Okay.
It is Vikings at Lions. The Lions are 2.5-point favorites at home.
You know what I like about this is as much as we are Man Campbell fans and advocates.
I'm happy with either side.
Man, I agree. I'm
happy. I mean, I like love Sam Darnold now.
love Sammy D.
I was possibly his biggest hater in like 2017, 2018, 2019. Yeah. I love him now. I love him.
Yep. All right.
Bro.
So
a walk-off man would just feel so good. Just give me it.
Oh my God.
It's got to go. It's got to go.
It's got to go. Oh my God. Wait.
Holy.
Oh my God.
Bro, this wheel, dude. This wheel's elusive.
Wow.
We got to stick with this longer spin. This is
wow. There was like a late push.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so Vikings plus 2.5 is the pick.
Yep.
Shit.
All right. So
5 dogs.
5 dogs.
I love it. You know what? We're underdogs. We're dogs.
We are.
Yeah. All right. So let's recap the picks. So I'm going Chiefs plus 10.5 against the Broncos. Kieran, you've got the Jags +5 against the Colts. Bowen, you've got the Panthers +8 against the Falcons. We were hit with a doom in the boom versus doom wheel, and we have the Patriots +2 against the Bills. And then Sammy D prevails against man. So we've got the Vikings +2.5.
I like it. 5 underdogs to end the season. I love it.
I love it. I love it. All right, picks are submitted. They are in. Are we gonna do like a recap pod next week?
We always
Yeah.
could.
That feels right.
I think at some point there also needs to be like a team dinner. We can get the foreign correspondent involved.
Yep.
Maybe have our father. He was an angel investor.
Yeah, he was a silent investor. Yep.
It'd also be kind of hilarious to have 40 and our dad at the same dinner table.
Oh yeah, they won't know what to do with each other. It's,
Just a
gotta-
crazy crossover.
where do we go for a meal?
We could pick something out.
It's got to be a good steak dinner, right?
Yeah, maybe something
Gotta
in
eat-
Plymouth, maybe something in New Bedford. Maybe we go to like the one of the cities or something. But
we gotta eat like men.
yeah, we'll figure something out. I mean, that's something that doesn't have to be right away too. We can kind of work on a plan. But
Yeah, yeah, I like it.
Well,
All right.
I also I have locked the foreign correspondent into the Vegas trip.
perfect.
To be decided on the dates, but he is 100% in for like a 36-hour quick turnaround sign up.
And
So
will he be contributing content to the socials? I feel like we got to send him with a mic.
Next year I'll start a Twitter account.
I want him in nothing but like a Hawaiian shirt and like a fanny pack, just looking like a foreign like a tourist. And
Yeah, you know, dress up like Eddie Murphy and like Coming to America or something.
get him like walking
Oh my
man on the
God.
street. Give him an Australian accent, maybe.
Have him carry around one of those. What are the like the little black furry mics that people use, like the small ones?
Like the lapel mics and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I think next year I think we can get we can start leaning more into this stuff. I'll start a whole Twitter account for it too. That way
Yeah.
you know, it's nice and clean, nice and easy to find. You don't have to dig through my Twitter. You don't have to dig through, 3 different arguments from the past week to find last week's record and stuff like that.
You've been on one. You've been on one.
I kind of feel
I'm using
myself
my
sinking
heater.
back into my old Twitter self, and I kind of love it.
Going back to your roots.
Yeah, I'm kind of loving it. I'm leaving back.
You're hearing the voices in your head yelling at you.
Engage.
Because you know what it is. I'm kind of I'm coming back. I'm like a little more. It feels funny to use this word for it, but I'm a little more mature with my arguments. Where I'm not letting them get under my skin. I'm remaining stoic because I've learned that that's what pisses people off the most. Like the guy yesterday that kept wanting to see my unit size.
I loved that you just kept copying and pasting the same response.
I've started doing that in a few different ones too, where it's like they just keep going at me, and it's like, because it's like at the same time, it's like I'm not going to let you get the last word, but I'm also not pouring energy, and that's the thing where it's like I wish these people could see how I looked during these arguments, because I'm like laying on my bed and like just typing. Like I'm cozy when I'm doing this stuff.
Oh my God, it's great.
Yeah, I love doing that because it's like I said, I wasn't gonna appease that guy and give, because no matter what size bet I said, he was gonna find some way to clown it. So it's like I'm not gonna give you any sort of number. I'm not. You're a fucking random stranger, and you think you feel entitled to know how I manage my finances? I don't think so, pal.
Yeah. But again, I feel like he is just the antithesis of the creed of gamblers, which again is like we don't shame unit size. Like,
it's also like it's like I kept saying to him, it's like, yeah, like you're calling me like broke, but I'm like okay with like losing a few futures. Like you're the one that
we're talking about
you're the one that thinks the sky should be falling for me. I'm sorry that losing, $50 on long shot futures sounds devastating.
In total, you lost 2.4 units on 6 bets.
It's $60 that I bet back in August.
Yeah.
Like I'm not losing sleep over that. I'm sorry, pal.
Yeah. Yeah. That was nuts. All All right.
Sirianni's still a coward for robbing me of that chance. But Justin Jefferson, if Jamar Chase does get held in check, Jefferson could have like 250 yards and steal it. You never know.
That would be you dancing on that guy's grave on late Sunday.
That's why I'm pissed about Saquon one last week and then them not playing him this week was like I could have backdoored that. And then I would have just gone on a tirade against like the three guys that have chirped me this season, been like, what's that, buddy?
Yeah. Oh, we'll see. Maybe Sunday night we have a miracle.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right. Good stuff.
I'll see you guys soon, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all attending this thing tonight.
What time is that at? 7:30?
7:30.
7:30. Yeah, 7:30 is a reservation, I think.
Yep.
Word. All right.
We'll see you over there.
All right.
Later.
We'll be
All right,
talking.
later.
Peace.